My name is Céline. I'm an artist full-time since 5 years now, and I'm based in Paris. I've started getting interested in the tattoo culture quite a long time ago because I got my first tattoo when I was 15 in a professional shop. So it was a very long time ago, like 20 years ago. And got it covered then, and since then, and got really into the tattoo culture, really when I moved to the US for my studies. I had to go there for 6 months, and I've met some people who were very involved into body modifications, and that's how I really kind of fell in love with tattooing and just the power of a bodysuit. So it was 2009, I think. Yeah. In terms of styles, I have a very wide taste, and you can see it on my body because I kept a lot of. I mixed a lot of different styles, and I decided to keep them together because I got also rid of some of them, blasted over or covered up. But I like to have the traditional black and gray portraits, and but I also love the more Indian inspirations or Japanese inspirations. So on the paper that doesn't match really, but I try to make something coherent on my body. So no, I was more looking for specific you would go and buy a painting for your home. I would go, okay, he's so good at this thing, I want his style, and I was willing to travel to go and pick the right person. So that was a really fun time period. I think the idea of the bodysuit came right away for me. I don't really see the point of having just one or two tattoos. For me, it was having a canvas, a wall painting, a wall thing, and for me it was I knew right away something that it's that come from inside, and it's that's what you want, and it's right for you, and that's where you're going. So for me it was okay, I want a bodysuit. I didn't know exactly how I was going to proceed, and so many ideas came up during the whole process, and I didn't imagine it would be such an adventure and I would tattoo myself so much. But yes, I knew it would be a bodysuit for sure. I've been traveling a lot in Asia since I was a kid with my family, and I was for sure influenced by the body modification and the tattoos, you can see in Asia, a bit everywhere, in the tribes also. And for sure it's connected, and some of my tattoos are related also to that more tribal part of the body modifications. When I get a new tattoo, I have always an idea in my mind. So I pick for me it's more I see it in my head, and I try to pick the best person to achieve it and make it a collaboration, because I don't want to just impose something. It has to be two persons creating. But for me, I've always been involved in the tattoos I was getting, because I always had an idea, and discussions, and even sometimes debates, with tattooers, should we do it like this, and why not? And But yes, I always have an idea, and it's always made for someone specific, actually. So I've been tattooed by Guil Tatoueur, Gotch, John Dix, Cockney, Roberto Dardini, Monty, where so many people, Indy Voigt, Martin Marine, Ivaras, Michael de Poissy, Tiraf.
A lot of people.
I must have forgotten
Yeah.
some people.
Too many.
I've been tattooed with coils mainly, and a little bit of handpoke as well. Yes, because you know the tattooer I get tattooed by, like they're always like they do big lines. I mean they do
Sure.
real tattoos, you know.
Yeah.
In my head, like I built this bodysuit from 2009 and 2019, and for me it was achieved because I reached like what I had in mind, like and lots of people were like asking me the whole time, like, but you will never stop, and I was like, no, it's not that I will never stop, it's just that I have a specific idea in my mind, and I want to put so much details in the bodysuit that it requires time, and even 10 years is fast, like considering like all the sessions I've been through. But to me, since 2019 it was done, and I was like, okay, I know I will add some little things with time because I couldn't bear the pain anymore, like after 10 years. And but recently I I got a new project in mind, so I'm going to do, like, I should be doing a big project. So it's very exciting because I was thinking about it since like 4 or 5 years. But like woke up like a night at 4 a.m. and I was like, okay, now I see how we can do it and how it's going to work, because it's very ambitious, and I think people are going to be like very like, what is she doing? But that's always what people did, like since I did, like I documented like all the steps of my bodysuit. So every time like people would be asking like, what the hell are you doing? Like, it's not working, it's not going to work, like it's not even beautiful, like, and I had so much criticism to deal with. But I mean, I didn't mind, because to me I was like, okay, I need to prove it. I need to prove like what's my idea, so people can say, okay, yeah, you were right. So because it will take at least 6 sessions.
Okay.
So so to make it like to the final idea, you know, like people will be like, I'm not sure you should have done that.
Sure.
Wait until it's done, you know. You know, it's funny because in the first years I was like, I had really a lot of criticism, and it's funny that the same people like would say the opposite, you know, like years later, or would even like try to copy what you do, you know. So modeling definitely arrived with tattoos, and in the first years I was like really like some people contacted me about it, like and I didn't want to pose because for me the bodysuit was so much in progress that I didn't want it to be photographed yet. It was not the right time, and but after some time I decided to say yes, and I figured it was an interesting way at the beginning of like just documenting the transformation of the body over time. And I was working with some close friends only for a few years, and then it became like a real way of expressing myself and creating, because just like for getting a tattoo, when I have an idea for a shoot, like I want to collaborate with the best people for it. So it's like very creative, and and I always enjoy doing it. So it's became basically a job. It's started like just something very like naive, but yes, then I've been asked a lot, but by more and more people. So yeah, now it's a job. I travel quite a lot, uh, either in France or in Europe. I've been to the US even for some shoots, but yeah, just like for tattoos, like if I want to work with someone that I'm interested in, like I'm definitely willing to take some time and travel. Like I think it's always interesting also to meet a person is in his own studio, you know.
Yeah.
So why not the top of the ends? For me, it was a matter of balance between what's tattooed and what's untattooed on my body. And I'm so covered up. I mean, it's like layers over layers. I saw it was like interesting to keep a bit, some small parts of the body just neutral. So I was like, I would never touch like the neck and the face and the top of the ends, because it's just a matter of contrast, really.
Yeah.
And I've tried like with henna, like to see like what it would look, and I was like, no, definitely not. I think it definitely looks too full. And that's something very small, but that changed everything. And I've seen some girls with bodysuit that got their ends tattooed, and I think you lose a little bit of the elegance of the whole thing, depending on what you wear, of course. Like everyone is different, and it doesn't apply to everyone. But I think when you have so much coverage, it brings like some elegance. But that's my views and that's my sensibility. But there is no right or wrong, really. Future projects. I'm going to exhibit some of my paintings, like the self-portrait series. I'm collaborating with a brand like what is called ukiyo-e Paris, and so yeah, that's my next exhibition. And then of course, like there are some shoots coming up. So my background is like I was raised by a photographer, so I was like right into photography since I was a kid, and I always been like very close to my father. And since I can remember, I always had like a camera, and it was always like buying me a new camera to replace the other one, and it was always analog. And I really fell in love with the analogic way of taking photography, and that's something I kept like all my life until today, because I keep shooting in analog. I do digital only for the self-portraits because it was easier for me. But yes, so I have a father artist, and my parents always like brought me to museums, and like I had a very rich education and lots of traveling as well. So culture was like a big part of my education, I would say. And yes, and my father like is still like doing exhibitions of his work, and he's like fully committed to photography, so we exchange a lot. So also like about our work. Sure. And so I think it's a family thing more.
Nice.
And so yeah, now I think like I took the inspiration from my father, because he takes a lot of photography like during travels, like especially in Asia. He does a lot of portraits and landscapes, etc. So that's what I included in my work, because like this one was shot in Bangkok, and this was shot in Vienna, and it's like a bit of that's why we have like our common DNA. And but then I had my own twist with the paints. So basically, I print the photograph, and it's mounted on thick aluminum, and then I paint with acrylic, and I try to have like a lot of texture,
Yeah,
like
that's amazing.
old jewelry. That's the inspiration. So honestly, the gold comes as much from Klimt,
Of course.
also like the temples I've seen when I was a kid in Asia, and I was like, oh, this gold is incredible, you know. And I think like all these things mixed together is like what I do basically.
Yeah.
Thank you.